Yes, hello. Welcome to my 34th episode of my podcast, Open Conversation. I'm your host, Bella. And just today, we're going to talk about just some NBA playoffs. NBA playoff season has arrived, and regular season has ended, and it's the NBA playoff time. Uh, the best teams of each conference are playing, and I'm just going to give analysis of each series, uh, give updates on the season series standings, and yeah. So no further ado, get right into it. Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat. So currently, the Boston Celtics are leading the series 1-0 against Miami Heat. Uh, Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat's best player, is injured currently. Um, Not quite sure if he's going to make an appearance sometime during the series, but he's currently injured. And like I said, Boston's leading the series. They won game one in Boston. Uh, and, it was relatively a blowout, throughout the game. Boston was leading for the most part throughout the game. Show why they're the number one seed in the East. Um, the guys stepped up. Um, the Heat, they competed, but wasn't able to, obviously win the game. Um, I think this will likely be a sweep. I'm looking at a sweep this year. I think with the momentum and the confidence the Celtics have, I think um, it's going to be a little overwhelming for the Heat. Obviously, they're not with their best player, their leader. So, that energy, Jimmy Butler's energy and his overall productivity that he, gives to his team isn't going to be there. And, as we know, it's just been that concept of playoff Jimmy and his game elevating in the playoffs. So, him not being there is going to be crucial. Um, Definitely, like I said, I see this beat there being a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. Maybe he get one game at in their place, um, just off the strength of their culture and the energy that they have. But likely looking at this being a sweep with Boston Celtics advance to the second round. So yeah. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Orlando Magic. Currently, Cleveland is winning in the series, taking game one at their place. Um, they came out with some energy, played well. Um, Obviously, the Orlando Magic, a competitive team throughout the year, um, just getting their feet wet. It's been some years since they've been back in the playoffs. It's good that they are in the playoffs. They have a young star in Paolo and a good young core of good young role players surrounded around Paolo. But I think that the Cleveland's going to end up winning this series. I think Cleveland, with the likes of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, uh, Karis LeVert, I think they have too much firepower than more firepower than Orlando Magic. And I think it's gonna outlast them. It's like I said, this is a good intro for the Magic. getting some playoff experience, getting that experience, and I think it's going to be beneficial for them because they can likely add some pieces over the summer, um, some vets, a couple vets. There've been talks about Klay Thompson potentially playing in Orlando, signing with Orlando. That'd be a good pickup. Getting some other guys on that team would be a good, good for this team because like I said, they have a good young core guys. They got an all-star in Paolo, and they definitely have a future. But I think at the moment, Cleveland is the better team. They have more experience, especially when it comes to playoff experience um, than the Magic. So I think that Cleveland's going to win. I think probably in six. I think Magic can get 2 games, and if the Magic can get 2 games, I think I think that's good for this season. The season that they had, and the expectations for them coming season. They can get 2 games. That'd be big for them. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I definitely expect Cleveland to win this series. So, Milwaukee Bucks versus Indiana Pacers. Uh, so Milwaukee is leading the series 1-0 as they won uh, game one uh, in Milwaukee, and Dame Dollar had a huge game, had 35 in the first half. Um, Crazy, he didn't. It was a blowout, so he didn't score in the second half, but um, was was huge in the first half. Was hitting everything, and one threes, you know, step backs and pull up threes and finish and ones. I mean, he was having a great game. Um, Too much for the Pacers, and they did this without Giannis. Um, Overall, their best player, their leader. So definitely good game one for Milwaukee. Pacers came out a little flat, kind of struggle offensively, considering they're the highest scoring offense in the NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks kept them under 100 points for the game. So don't really expect them to come that flat in game two. I definitely expect them to be better. Um, I think that overall, I think Milwaukee's going to win this series. Likely, I'm going to say in a gentleman's sweep 4-1, Milwaukee winning this series. Um, I just don't think this is a good matchup for Indiana. I think maybe if they were in another seeding, they would have maybe gotten to the second round, but I just don't think against Milwaukee, this is a good matchup for them. Pacers like to play fast and up and down ball, but Milwaukee, likes to play half court. It's going to slow it down for them. So I think this just isn't a good matchup for the Pacers, and Bucks are gonna, in my opinion, ultimately take this series and go to the next round. So yeah. New York Knicks versus Philadelphia 76ers. So currently, New York took game one in the Garden against 76ers. Um, Played very well. Um, this is going to be probably the most. And this is the one series that could potentially go to 7 games. Considering to me how, from a talent and perspective, they're relatively equal in a lot of cases. Knicks are without Julius Randle, their second best player and All Star, so that's a huge um, miss without them. They've been playing very well without him um, in recent time. Not to say they don't need him, but they have been playing very well despite Julius Randle not being on the floor. But I do, just considering the momentum the Knicks is on, um, Joel just kind of getting back in the rhythm of things. He's still fresh off the injury, still getting himself back in the rhythm, shape and all that. I just don't think they're going to have enough to beat the Knicks. Um, so I'm going to say that the Knicks are going to win this series, um, either in 6 or 7 games. I think the Knicks will advance. But this is probably going to be most competitive series, um, either between this one and the Clippers Mavericks series. I think it's going to be the most competitive of the first round series. Jalen Brunson, playing lights out. You know, just having such a great year. Been a top. I wouldn't say he's a top 10 player in the league, but this past season he's played like a top 10 player in the league. So, um, shout out to Jalen Brunson, just been going off and killing it. Uh, Wish him more success moving forward. But I think the New York Knicks will advance to the second round. Oklahoma City Thunder versus New Orleans Pelicans. Um, so Oklahoma City took game one in Oklahoma against the Pelicans. Um, the young guys played well. Um, played very well. Um, New Orleans played solid as well, um, but it wasn't enough to win the game. Um, I think this was a close one. This was a very close one. Um, OKC won by 2 points, 92 to 94. So a very competitive game. Um, this series, I think, um, it's going to be competitive, but I think the Thunder will win. I think they'll win in 6 games, 4-2. Um, just think that this Thunder team, this nucleus that they have, this young core guys is gonna rise to the occasion. These are 2 young teams, by the way, um, 2 very young teams. But I will give the favor to the Thunder. I think they're a little bit more cohesive amongst their young core guys. Um, you know, Zion is injured, so that's always that's not good. That's their best player. You obviously have Brandon Ingram, C.J. McCollum, but them to really have a fighter's chance. So yeah, OKC will advance to the second round. L.A. Clippers versus Dallas Mavericks. So the Clippers won Game 1 versus Dallas. Uh, James and Paul George had good games. They both showed up, played very well. Kyrie and Luka played well too, but it wasn't enough to win the game. It was a pretty good game throughout. Not relatively, I think the Clippers had the lead throughout the game for the most part, but it was pretty well, back and forth. You know, it was 109 and 97. Uh, and James hit some big shots down the stretch. He had that three, and late and with a couple minutes left, that was big for them. Paul George hit some big threes um, down the stretch as well. Um, it was Clippers played well, but Dallas competed. Um, this is probably going to be one of the more competitive matchups, probably the best matchup of the first round, in my opinion, in terms of just talent and scoring prowessness. You got Kyrie, Luka, Paul George, Kawhi, James Harden. Don't forget about Russ Westbrook. Russ can go off. Um, so you got these guys. Um, Very entertaining series. But I think the Clippers will edge Dallas in 6. I just think that Dallas doesn't have enough depth when it comes to the Clippers. Um, they just don't have enough depth. I think that's just been the issue with the Mavericks team, just their depth. And the playoffs, you got to have some depth. I mean, you have two guys who can get you 30. Um, Hardaway can every now and again go for 20 maybe or something like that. But other than that, you don't really have any legitimate scorers, guys you can go to. You just got mostly guys you have to create shots for. Luka, usually is creating the offense for the other guys on the team, or it's Kyrie. Um, and, like I said, you don't have the depth in the playoffs, it's not going to work. So I think the Clippers will win the series in 6 and advance to the second round. Minnesota Timberwolves versus Phoenix Suns. Um, Another good series. Um, Very, very competitive series. Uh, Minnesota won game 1 versus Phoenix in Minnesota. Uh, really good game. And Edwards and Kevin Durant both going at it, uh, really competing at a high level. Um, and, came ready to play, hit a couple big shots, uh, hit some threes in KD's face. Um, he was killing. He was showing the arsenal that he has in his game, um, and things are looking good for them. Um, Cat is back in the rotation, so I think um, this is the T Wolves series to win. If they lose it, it's because they did not play up to par. Nonetheless, this is a very good Phoenix team, KD, Booker, and Bill. But um, I just think with this Phoenix Suns team, they just haven't been able to figure out the right lineup for them. They still kind of confused when it comes to their rotation and guys that they want to play and all that stuff. I don't think they've figured that out this season. Um, you know, for various reasons, injuries or just not figuring out the guys that they can depend on or whatever thing case may be. But I just don't think they have a stable rotation of guys that they can depend on. Obviously, you are top heavy with Bill, Booker, and KD, but again, it comes to depth, especially when it comes to playoffs. I don't think they have enough. When it comes to Timberwolves one of the better defensive teams in the league, and I think that it's the young guys' time with Sean. I think and Cat, ultimately win this series and advance in the second round. I think they can win this series in about six or seven. 6 or 7. I think this series is going to go with uh, T-Wolves advancing. Um, but, I will give Phoenix can win this series. They're definitely capable, with the top heavy talent that they have. Um, wouldn't be surprised if they upset the T-Wolves. This is probably the one series I think could be an upset. I think Phoenix can upset the T-Wolves, but I'm going with the young guys, and yeah, going with the young guys to advance. So yeah, Denver Nuggets versus LA Lakers. Um, Denver Nuggets took Game 1 in Denver, um, relatively convincingly. They won that game. I just don't think the Lakers have enough, man. I mean, they have a good squad of talent and things of that nature, but I don't think this is just not a good matchup for the Lakers. I don't think they match up well with Denver with what they have. Their lineup of guys. Um, I think Denver wins this series in either a gentleman's sweep or in 6 games. Um, you know, Bron and AD obviously gonna do their thing and compete at a high level, but I just don't think they got it this year. I don't think um, again really just the matchup. I just don't think this is a good matchup for the Lakers. Maybe if they were in another seeding, play another team, maybe it was OKC or the T Wolves. Maybe I would give them a good chance of winning. But against Denver, I just don't think they match up well. Joker is just a mismatch for them. Um, Jamal Murray and these guys, MPJ. Um, I just think that they just uh, are a favorable matchup against the Lakers, and don't think the Lakers are going to advance. So um, we'll see. Obviously, it's game 1. Denver took game 1, but um, I do not think that the Lakers will advance to the second round. Denver will win this series and advance in the second round. So, yep, that's the end of this episode. Just want to give y'all my analysis of the first round of NBA playoffs. Give y'all my, you know, perspective, and you know, give y'all update of what's going on in terms of the series standings and you know everything like that. So till next time, you know, peace out, love.